Dennis Kucinich, do politicians really care about the debt? It's so easy to borrow now and let the next generation pay it back.
Well, that's a problem, but what I would suggest, Stuart, is we need to have a closer inspection of monetary policy and also our spending policies, particularly with respect to a blank check that goes for creating wars abroad and the cost comes home and suddenly people are expected to take cutbacks in their standard of living. Our monetary policy set by the Fed is not geared to helping create jobs in this country. We need a critical inspection of Fed policies, and I think we have to realize today in our economy, according to this story, money equals debt. And as long as that happens, we're going to keep in a race to the bottom, and I think we need a whole new fiscal and a monetary policy, Stuart, and I'd be glad to talk to you about it at length sometime.
Okay. Trish, you're in favor, well, not necessarily in favor, but your answer to debt is to some degree just grow the economy, like Charlie said.
Well, look, I think that there's some merit to that. We certainly have not had the right policies in place, Stuart, to grow the economy. You need lower taxes, you need lower corporate taxes, you need less regulation, and you need government to get out of the way of doing what businesses do best, and that's grow. So you can make that argument that maybe we need to be a little bit calmer when it comes to dealing with some of those things that will cost us money in the near term because hopefully it grows the overall economy. Look, the reality is nobody really wants to talk about this stuff because nobody wants to talk about what we need desperately, and that's entitlement reform. You got to start to actually figure out what you're going to do with all these people on Social Security and all these people on Medicare, and if you don't fix that,
you're right,
then
Trish.
It's just not sustainable.
Yeah, you know what people really do want to talk about? They want to talk about plagiarism. Melania Trump from last night. So I am going to go across and round the table there. Start with you, Dennis, if I may. Was that plagiarism? What the expressions which Melania used last night, which echo at least the words of Michelle Obama 8 years ago. Dennis.
Well, if there's a couple of stanzas from her performance that represented somebody else's sheet music, I don't think that's such a big deal. I will say this. I listened to the speech, and I thought that a lot of what she said was very moving without regard to the hyper-partisanship right now, and that you can't, we can't just keep knocking people because maybe they have a faux pas here and miss the deeper meaning of her presence there, which communicated to the American people a spirit that I thought was very loving. So, I'm sorry, but when it comes to just knocking on somebody because they're a Republican, I'm going to check out of that.
Charlie, she's an immigrant. English is not her first language, but there she was last night in front of tens of millions of people speaking in very good English. Are you going to rule her out because she copied and maybe used some expressions from 8 years ago?
Listen, I'm not, as a journalist, I'm not going to endorse plagiarism, just so you know, but I will say this. There's only so many ways you could say your husband is great. I mean, what she copied wasn't exactly the Gettysburg Address. It was a pretty mundane speech that she copied. So let's not go crazy about this. But here's where I think there is an issue here, Stuart. She should have enough handlers, and this is where it gets to the Trump campaign's infrastructure. They don't have it to catch this stuff and some other stuff. That's the bad part here.
All right, Trish, I'll give you 10 seconds. That's all I got. Last word.
Well, look, Stuart, someone was either trying to sabotage her or someone is just really, really stupid. And to Charlie's point, I mean, you need an infrastructure around you. Somebody should have caught that. You can Google the words at least and make sure it's not someone else.
Got it. Thank you very much to all three of you. We appreciate it. Now